a girl a-running in a group. She had a high-speed motor in a 40 Ford coupe. She had a racing cam and a supercharged. Look at Buddy, hot rod at large. She's a hot rod. She's a hot rod. She's my hot rod.
Operated BMWs. They're operating in Vegas. They're using them there. It's okay in Nevada. I guess they're letting them test their thing. They're a business. They're not just testing. They're making money. They're going to team up with Hertz. They're going to use Hertz as the fleet manager for this. Aptiv, A-P-T-I-V, started off as a high-tech supply firm. Well, they took these BMWs and made them autonomous, and by golly, they're operating in Vegas, and Hertz is going to be the fleet manager. Well, I got some things, two things left I got to tell you. This one bothers me, but I got to tell you anyway. Elon Musk, my buddy Tesla, he's reporting a 717.5 quarter two loss in 2018. $717 million.5 loss. And what did he do? He announced that he's going to start designing a new mini electric car. He's not making money on the ones he's making now. You tell me. I don't get it. And something, this is another one that really gets in my craw. Fiat Chrysler, one of the biggest complainers about all the trade things and the tariffs that are going on, and they're just crying the blues. Well, after crying about tariffs, they're asking the United States to block their competition from India. It seems Mahindra has opened an HQ and headquarters in Michigan, southeast Michigan. Not sure exactly where, but it's all right. And they're building a Jeep. It looks just like a Jeep. It's a 4x4. They call it I forget what they call it, the Razor or the Roxor, the Mahindra Roxor. It looks identical to the Chrysler Jeep, the FCA Chrysler Jeep. Not identical, but man, it's just, they copied. They cheated, okay? They cheated. And that's exactly what happens when you cheat. And now Chrysler says, oh, no, well, don't worry about those tariffs. You got to block them. You got to tell them they can't make that car. They can't sell that car here. That's our most popular vehicle. Looks just like a Jeep Wrangler, I'm telling you. 4 doors, same body style. Oh, my God. They blatantly, of course, they're from India. They don't care. Who do they have to answer to? They don't have to answer to anybody. They can, and I suppose if they're going to build them here, I don't know. I don't know what the government's going to do about that. It's kind of like an infringement for stealing somebody's patent. But, of course, in India, they don't have patents. Nah. I don't think. I don't know what they call them if they do. It's time that you and I get together and talk. 928 Car Guys, by the way, if you want to call me on some of this, because this is going to get, I'm going to talk about this. And we're going to talk about this a lot. Getting your car fixed. It struck me the other morning, my manager, Ron, and I, were sitting there just having our first cup of coffee of the day, knocking it around what's going to happen. And we're talking about this car, and this guy doesn't know this, and he doesn't know he shouldn't have been driving it this way. What you don't know about getting your car fixed can hurt you. You know that? Or what I don't know about your car can hurt you. Let me tell you how that works. Since 1996, in the beginning of what they call OBD2 technology, OBD2 stands for Onboard Diagnostics Second Generation. That's the technology. It's a whole new ballgame. If you remember correctly, that's when the gas stations all got those things for when you put gas in so no fumes could get out, the big muffler on there, rubber piece. It's out with the old playbook and in with the new. That's what it is, too. Constant changes in these last 22 years have been a real trip. All new training, an all new information system, plus new and quite expensive test equipment, I mean real expensive, has changed the way you and I view your vehicles. They needed repairs. And oh yeah, did I mention the cost? Everybody's excited about these vehicles. They're much more reliable. They are. The result of the latest technology in auto and truck building has given you, the driver of the vehicle, a more reliable, more efficient, easier to start and maneuver vehicle that actually lasts longer than any vehicles ever did. They lasted forever. They're lasting forever. And we'll talk about that. You remember when 100,000 miles was the magic number? The old buggy was rusted out and the motor burned oil and maybe the trans slipped a bit. Well, now most motors don't even call for a tune-up until 100,000 miles. And the new body coatings keep them sharp for a long, long time. With a little maintenance, of course. The maintenance is important. The old commercial that said, "It's not your father's Oldsmobile," it's more correct now than ever, let me just tell you. And we have progress to thank for that. I'm with them. But it's also changed the way you need to view your vehicle's repairs and maintenance. It's a little more prevalent now. You have to stay with it a little harder. You have to be on top of it a little more. I mean, they tell you to go, you don't have to do your oil changes for this much. That's not right. And they tell you 100,000 miles on the trans service. There's a lot of things they tell you. You can use your own judgment on that. What you should do is contact your technician, and you can find out. Now is the time to find a good technician. Doesn't have to be a dealership. Matter of fact, you're almost better off without the dealership technician because the guys in the automotive aftermarket are not under big pressure to sell, and sell you maintenance and things that you're not even ready for yet. We're just there to fix your car and make a living. And that's how we do it. Now, just remember, we're going to go into this when we come back from this break. We're going to talk about getting these cars repaired and some of the fallacies that we have to deal with, that you have to deal with as a consumer. We got a caller, 928 Car Guys. We have a caller. Let's go to see who we got here. Hey, caller, what's up? You're on with the Car Guy. Hello.
Hey, George. It's Scott from Lake Station.
Hey, Scott, what's happening?
Not much. Just wanted to call in and remind everybody about the car cruises we got going on this week.
Okay, tell me what you got.
Thursday night, we got Texas Corral and Portage at 5880 U.S. Highway 6 from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And then Friday night, we got Verona Pizza and Wings at 3365 Willow Creek Road in Portage from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m.
How cool. You get a lot of cars out for that, Scott? You get a lot of the local hot rodders?
Yeah, it's been up and down, you know. 1 week we get a bunch of cars, the next week we don't. There's a lot that's been going on Friday nights. But we've been doing this for about going on 4 months now, and we've been getting a pretty good turnout.
Well, that's great. Oh, that's great. And a lot of good friends, a lot of camaraderie, good business for the pizza place and the steakhouse. I mean, it's a good deal.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then we also have on August 25th, we are having the 3rd annual Chris Carson Memorial Car Show, which will be this year. We will be at St. Michael's Church out on Route 30.
Okay, yeah, in Cherville. I talked about that one earlier for the people. That's for all the proceeds go to La Rabida Children's Hospital?
That's it. That's the one.
That's a great cause.
And we got some different car clubs that are going to be donating trophies to the show and stuff for us. So we should have hope to have a really good turnout, and we have a lot of stuff to give away. So
I'm going to do my best to make it out to that one. I want to see that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'll definitely call in again next week to just keep reminding everybody until we get there, you know. But, yeah, August 25th, the first year we did it, we had, I want to say, like, there was 142 cars or something like that.
Wow.
We did it at Verona Pizza. And then last year we did it at Verona Pizza again, and we had 167 cars. This year we are switching, going out to Cherville to try it out there, see if we get a bigger turnout or not. And then, you know, we may end up back at Verona next year. Who knows?
Well, you know what? Either way, it's still for a great cause, Scott. You guys are doing a great job. You have my compliments.
Absolutely.
You definitely have my compliments, and thanks for calling, buddy.
All right, thank you. You have a good night, George.
All right, buddy. You too. Yeah, that's the guy that's got to run the third annual, the Chris Carson Memorial Cruise in. That one's in Cherville, remember. Okay, we're talking about getting your car repair fixed, and the way you need to look at your vehicles, it's different now. It's not the same. It's not like it used to be. You can't go up to the corner gas station. Of course, there are no corner gas stations anymore. Everything's in a Zippy Mart or whatever. The first and foremost, if you really have to go to a big box parts store to have your check engine light read, just please remember, track light, ABS, check engine light, they read it and they tell you what your codes are. Remember, they only read your codes for free to save, not to save you money, to save you from going to someplace and having to pay for a proper diagnosis, and so that they can sell you parts. There's never a real clear answer when you take one of those little $69 jobbies and you plug it into the dash and it says you have a code for you have an oxygen sensor that's not reading right. Is that a bad sensor? Could be. Is that a vacuum leak? Could be. Is that a drippy injector? Could be. But you could buy all those parts and put them in, and it might not be any of them. It might be a mass airflow sensor. Let me just tell you, they're doing that just so they can sell you their cheapo parts. This is by no means a diagnosis. The people reading these failure codes are parts sellers. They're not trained technicians. They're usually kids. And the equipment they use costs on an average of about $60. While the real computer scanner actually costs around $9,000 and needs to be in the hands of a trained technician. Okay? So now after $300 or $400 worth of guesses of non-returnable electronic parts, now you need a technician who will probably charge you between $90 and $120. You don't have to go to a dealer again. Between $90 and $120 is usually about average to actually pinpoint the problem. Feel free to do the math on that one. $300 or $400 worth of try me parts, or $90, $100 to pinpoint the problem and then repair it. Okay? Here's a few things to remember when you're having your vehicle serviced and maintained. Keep up on your recommended maintenance by your mechanic, not the dealer or the reminder in the dash. Your tech will tell you what you have to do to keep your particular motor running worry-free. We talked about this 2 weeks, or last week or the week before. We talked about this, and that Chevrolet V6 that needs its oil changed much more often than they actually tell you. You can actually go in there and they will reprogram your computer to make the mileage time less, to remind you sooner because it needs the oil change. It's got a bad problem. All right, certain motors have developed problems that definitely require extra care, and they do. So that 7,000 mile oil change, throw that in the garbage. That reminder light, toss it. Your tech will tell you, hey, this motor you can go 3. This motor you can go 5. You can actually go 5,500 on this one. I've never heard anybody recommend over 5,500. But 7,000, and the thing on the dash, who knows how many miles that's going and how long is that? Does the computer, you're relying on a computer again to tell you, and you can have a glitch. When you're scheduling service or repair, always tell your repairs facility everything you are experiencing. Symptoms are always best related by you, the driver, but best interpreted by me, the technician. You got to tell me what's going on and let me go from there. If you have one or more of the MILs, that's malfunction indicator lights, on your dash, or if the warning lights flash on your instrument cluster, or illuminated and stayed lit, always tell your tech those little things make a difference. It saves you no money by holding back. Don't tell me my car runs bad and not tell me that you don't have that you have a check engine light on. I'm going to assume you do anyway, and the charge is the same. The diagnostic is about $90. It's $99 at my shop. Other places are a little higher, some are a little lower. It just makes my job no money, but you're not saving any money by holding back any information. It makes my job that much harder. In short, I guess what I want to tell you, you really need your technician. You really do. You need your aftermarket technician. You need to find someone you can trust and help you and help them as much as you can. And if he's worth his salt, he'll help you too. You have to have a communication. There's got to be communication. Don't come in and tell me, oh, I got to check an engine light on. Oh, is it running bad? Oh, well, kind of. Why didn't you tell me that? I have an ABS light on. Are you having any braking problems? No braking problems. Only when I stop and come to a stop. Why don't you just tell me? The technology today is so doggone complicated. It makes it easier if I know everything. Believe it or not. Have to know everything. If I know everything, I can fix it much simpler and probably cheaper. I can save money if you and I can talk. If we can have a dialogue. If you think you have a rattle, take me for a ride. Point it out to me. Don't tell me you have a rattle, drop it off, and expect me to fix it because I take it for a ride and it doesn't rattle. Now what do I do? Okay? What about the car that gets towed in? My guy goes out and boom, starts it up and drives it in. Well, it wouldn't start for me. Tell me more. Tell me what happened. Why wouldn't it start? Give me some symptoms to go by. I'll tell you why it didn't start. You just give me some symptoms. The technology today requires your involvement more than ever before. Today's cars are so complex and so expensive to repair. The parts are ridiculous. The replacement parts are ridiculous. Even if you go to a big box store and buy cheapos, they're still expensive. So you want to buy expensive cheapos, or you want to pay me for my time to tell you exactly what's wrong with your car? It's all very simple to get your car fixed right. It really is. Dialogue, conversation, honesty on both parts, and if you have a good technician that you trust. And believe me, you don't have to take anything to the dealer until the technician tells you, hey, your computer has to be programmed, and that's a dealership thing. And when you go there, they're going to do the thing, they're going to program it, but then they're going to sell you everything under the world. They are in a big pressure. They have a big overhead in the dealer, and they're under immense pressure to sell you things, whatever, not even related to this check engine light. Whereas if you have a good technician that's really worth his salt, he's way too busy. That shop is way too busy to be selling work that they just don't need to do. We just don't sell junk. We schedule maintenance down the road. You come in for a check engine light and I tell you, hey, by the way, your maintenance is up for this, this, and this. Down the road, you give me a call. We'll schedule you in. We'll fix you. But for right now, I gotta concentrate on your check engine light because I got 3 more behind you. And we're not a big dealer. We don't have the big assets. We don't have the big overhead either. And you in turn make out. That's just how that works.